people tend to think of ginger beer as just, the beverage that you put in a Moscow Mule.
What we like to say, the granddaddy of soda pop. I brought it to the next market and it sold again. And I came home and I thought, I think I'm on to something here.
I think most of our viewers are probably interested in your Dragon's Den experience.
Most viewers don't know is that most deals don't go through. Almost none of them do.
Hi, and welcome back to the Edge A Leader Show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jackie Marson, and today we have another fantastic Dragon's Den alumni here with us. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's founded a landscape company, an organic farm, and now a new beverage category. Please welcome Bren Silk, co-founder of Gingerbug. Hi, Megan.
Hi, thanks so much for having me today.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. So just for our audience, if they've never tried your product, if they've never heard of it, I think that, people tend to think of ginger beer as just the beverage that you put in a Moscow Mule. So Gingerbug is, Canada's first truly fermented ginger beer. So can you talk about the difference between the ginger beer that's sort of been on the market and then Gingerbug?
Yeah, so we came out into the market with a wild fermented probiotic ginger beer. And this is essentially what we like to say, the granddaddy of soda pop. So how they used to make soda pop hundreds of years ago by brewing bits of raw ginger in an oak barrel, and then it was naturally carbonated. And so this is exactly the beverage that we made for our family on the farm and what I sold at farmers markets originally in the early days. So yes, you can use it for a Moscow Mule, and many people do. We like to encourage people to use it for mocktails because it's a really healthier alternative to the high sugar ginger beers that are on the market. So anyways, when we came out to the market, we launched with our literal farmhouse ginger beer, how we made it at home, raw produce in an oak barrel, and it has proven to be quite challenging over the last year at scale. There was so much life in it. It was completely raw, and while it was delicious, it was very challenging. The wild yeast proved a bit of a problem, and just keeping a consistent beverage. So being fermenters, we knew that there was another way to get the same gut health benefits, but to have a beverage that was slightly more stable, better for retailers, better for distribution, and that would be just as good, if not better, for the consumer. So we took that original recipe of Gingerbug and we fermented it down into a ginger vinegar, which is fantastic for your gut. For those of people who drink apple cider vinegar, same health benefits. And we turned our beverage by just tweaking the ingredients a bit, still organic, still raw produce, still all of that, still non-GMO, and we made it a prebiotic soda pop so that it can be more stable, it doesn't have to be kept cold at all times, and it was just a lot more efficient and easier for the consumer at scale. So we're just getting out ready to launch the prebiotic version this month actually, so it's big news. You guys are probably the first people I've told other than our retailers. So yeah.
We feel honored. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's amazing. So I guess like you were saying, it was harder to produce it in volume because you're culturing these small batches. So I'm glad that you've been able to kind of figure out a way to overcome that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even necessarily the small batches that it was the issue, is that it was so raw and so authentic and so full of life that it was just literally it was almost too good of a product. It was hard to control the life that was in it. So by just rejigging it a little bit and switching the quantities of the product, we were able to reformulate. And actually, I'm really excited to say that there'll be at least a shot of organic ginger juice in every single can. It's going to be lower in sugar as well, and with the ginger vinegar. So we ended up stumbling along through our formulation, but finding a product that was even healthier than our original product and better at scale.
Hey, wonderful news. That's amazing to hear. So how is, I guess, Gingerbug brewed or fermented differently than kombucha is?
Yeah, so our new product is a little bit different than kombucha. That used to be a common question with our probiotic drink, but I'll explain sort of the new prebiotic version a little bit. We ferment bits of raw organic ginger in an oak barrel in reverse osmosis water, and it is literally just sugar and ginger, and we let it sit there for 3 days. And that is the Gingerbug. That is what would give the life to our drink. So with the prebiotic, what we did is we fermented that Gingerbug down an additional 30 days to turn it into a vinegar. And so we add a teaspoon of that to every single can of Gingerbug, and along with the ginger juice and the lemon and the cold pressed lime and all of that.
It sounds delicious. I want a sip of one right now.
I know, I don't have any, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So you had mentioned that you kind of started out in local markets, and now you're, distributed across Whole Foods, across Canada, and other grocery stores as well. Can you walk us through that journey of going from point A at the local market to point B where you are now?
Yeah, so you hear of many companies that sort of build slowly over time and work to perfect the product and take several years to go to market. Our story was nothing like that. I brought this drink to farmers markets and set it out alongside our vegetables a couple of times, truthfully, because I had had a very weak harvest that week, and I was legitimately trying to bulk up my farmers market booth, and that was our income as a family. We're passionate about organic agriculture. However, when I got to the market, I saw that people really resonated with the concept of a traditional ginger beer, and it sold really well. I brought it to the next market and it sold again. And I came home and I thought, I think I'm on to something here. And truthfully, we weren't doing very well as farmers. We loved it. It was a passion, but it really was a labor of love. And we had 5 children, and it was proving to be a real struggle. So I came home, I did a little bit of research, and I thought, you know what? This drink, nobody has taken it to market. I think that we can do this. We sat down as a family and we made the decision to pivot from organic agriculture for income to going into the absolutely ruthless industry of consumer packaged goods. We made that decision. We made it quickly. We made it as a family, all of us. And as soon as we did that, we decided if we're going to do this and we're going to risk everything, including our farm, we're going to think as big as possible and go as quick as possible right from the very beginning. So we set out to build a big brand right from day one because we didn't see any value and we didn't have the time to go slow.
Wow, yeah. It's amazing. And you have a facility for production now, but I imagine there were a lot of challenges building this business in Meaford, Ontario, off the grid. Can you talk a little bit more about, your experience and your life off the grid?
Yeah, I absolutely can. It was challenging. We sort of set up our life in a certain way. Our children are homeschooled. Agriculture was very important to us. It was our dream to build an organic farm. So that's sort of what we thought our life would be, and then this completely has turned everything upside down. So the way that we had set up our life isn't necessarily compatible with launching a national CPG brand. It's been a real struggle. It's been very, very hard. It's been hard on the kids. But we're just coming out of, we're almost at 2 years, and I think it's opening up and we're having a little bit more time as a family now.
Building this business in a small town, a lot of people, they think that the only opportunity is if they move to Toronto, they move to New York, they're in a big city because of networks and because of a lot of different reasons. So building your business, I guess, in a unique way, I was just curious about some of the challenges that you faced with that.
Yeah, so we've changed facilities a couple of times, and are actually, with our new product, we're able to move to a manufacturing facility very close by in Collingwood, where they're going to be helping us. They'll be making our drink for us rather than setting up a manufacturing facility is not for the faint of heart, and I didn't realize this when we went into the industry, that most brands, they actually don't make their own product. It's usually made by larger co-packers is what they're called, because they have the capital to do that. I didn't have $1 million to build out a facility. So we did everything sort of makeshift as best as we could until we got to a certain scale, but now we're in talks with major retailers across the country, and we need a little bit more support than what our family is able to do. So we're really excited about the upgraded facility.
That's incredible. And I know that you mentioned that you have 5 children, so you've been homeschooling them with your husband. Are there a lot of conversations around business and entrepreneurship with them?
Yeah, I would say that right now business is the backbone of their education, because they're getting a real hands-on experience and a front row seat in what it takes to build a brand and what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And so, I mean, there's days that I've been down on myself as a parent where I feel where I know I'm not giving them certain parts of their education because I simply haven't had the time. But we've tried to, bring them along every step of the way for the journey. One of my youngest children, he learned how to do math by selling ginger beer at the market last summer. So give them those opportunities, teach them about branding, teach them about marketing, teach them about selling themselves to a future employer and see what it takes. So I think there's been value in that journey, but it certainly hasn't been easy.
They're definitely getting that hands-on experience though from a young age, which is really important. So I think most of our viewers are probably interested in your Dragon's Den experience, and we've interviewed a lot of different people that have pitched on the Dragon's Den, and they've told us their stories, and they've said that they've been on for different reasons. So some are there for marketing purposes, some are there because, it's nostalgic. They grew up watching Dragon's Den and that was something that they always wanted to be on. And then others are there for that strategic partnership. So what did you go on for, and can you tell us about your experience since then?
Sure. I think we went on for all of those reasons. We certainly needed the capital, and we certainly were looking for a partner who had experience in CPG to sort of hold our hand and help us make these critical decisions along the way. And of course, the marketing was phenomenal, to be on national television. And then personally, I mean, we had watched all 17 seasons of the show, and on the day where we actually went and pitched to the Dragons, I felt that I knew them, and it was actually very comfortable because I had seen the show and knew the format so well. But it was a life-changing experience and a really good one.
Wow. I think you're the first person to say that you were comfortable going on the show. I guess you've seen it so many times, you knew exactly what was going to kind of happen. So in your case, I mean, you were made an offer by both Manjeet and Arlene. And how did you decide which dragon you were going to go with in such little time?
Yeah, and so what many viewers don't know is that you're in the den for so much longer than what the episode airs for, right? Our pitch ends up airing for 8 minutes, but we were actually in there for well over an hour. So there was parts of the conversation that obviously were cut out. We were hoping for an offer for both of them because either one of them would have been a fantastic, fantastic partner. At the end of the day, we weren't sure at the stage of business that we were at exactly what Manjeet was going to be able to offer in terms of partnership, because we certainly weren't at the scale where she was producing, and she wasn't clear in the moment as to what her contribution as a partner would be. That being said, Arlene, which they cut out quite a bit more, went into more detail about how she could help us in the early stages of her brand. She has food scientists on her team, and that was really like the incubation sort of seed round stage that we were at, that we really wanted to have a team that we could lean on, and we knew that she had that. So it wasn't an easy decision. It looked like we made it very quickly, but we kind of, to be honest, we went in there wanting to work with Arlene. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it definitely helps that she had those connections with the food scientists as well. So I think you made a great choice. And how has that mentorship been like for you?
Yeah, so our deal didn't go through. And so I think another thing that most viewers don't know is that most deals don't go through. Right. Almost none of them do. And they usually fall apart in due diligence. I think a lot of people that I meet, they think that I literally got a check for $200,000 as I left the CBC studios that day, and that was the furthest thing from the truth. Okay. The process is very slow, and we've just been moving so quickly and growing so quickly that at the end of the day, it didn't come together. Right. But I'm so thankful for all of the nice things that Arlene said about our company and our drink on television.
Well, thank you so much, Megan. And I think our viewers would like to learn a little bit more about where they can purchase your product and I guess when the new launch is.
Yeah, exactly. So the new prebiotic version will be available at national retailers at the end of April. You can get us nationally at Whole Foods. We are at Healthy Planet, every Healthy Planet in Ontario, a variety of independents. So if you go to gingerbug.com, we've got a map there that has a list of all of our retailers where you can find us. And if you have any suggestions for retailers that you think Gingerbug would be a good fit for, I mean, we'd love to hear. Send us an email, and we're getting out there as quick as we can.
Amazing. Thank you so much again.
Thank you for watching the Edge Leader Show. If you know someone who's an entrepreneur or would make a great fit for an interview, reach out to us.